Hello, all you housebound people. Today I'm going to tell you a really interesting and neat steelhead salmon fly trout that I've been using for a number of years. They're going to be rubber legs. I'm using Chinchilla rabbit strip. It's actually, about 4 inches long. I'm using black Fritz for the blobs and the boobies, and some olive schlappen. I'm using 30-pound suffix for my stinger loop. My stinger, I don't like wire. Wire is too stiff. I find the 30-pound suffix exceptionally good and really strong. So what I use to cut it with is a blade. Boom. And the same blade I use for rabbit. The thread is going to be Semperfli's Nano, and it's a 6/0. It's a copper color. The color doesn't matter much with this stuff because it's so fine, and with the resins that we use and all that stuff and magic markers, the color of the thread's not that important in this particular fly. So let's get at this. A lot of people have asked me how you do this with a regular hook. So what I've done is I put the hook in the vise. It's actually a long hook. It's 4X, and I've got a brass metal blue bead on, and I'm going to start my thread here. Now remember, nano is very, very hard, so it really is difficult to tie with sometimes and cut because it's stranded. It's got lots of strands to it. Now, I'm only going to go back to about where the point is. I will be cutting that a little later, the hook itself. So I'm putting a stinger on here, and I will just bend over make a loop with my suffix. I really like this suffix. I had to bum it from somebody. I didn't have any. So you want to make sure you leave enough room here for your hook once you got the fly tied. Now I'll just gently lock it in at first. There we are. And yep, that's long enough. And eventually we will put the loop through the hide of the rabbit, as a matter of fact. There. Now, this will not come undone when you get hooked onto a rock or anything. I've never seen these ever come undone. One time on the Copper River years ago, I lost one that pulled apart, and I mustn't have tied it correctly because I've never seen it since. But there we go. Now there, I got that ready and well locked in. Not going anywhere. If you're really anal about it, some people put super glue on there, but you can. Not necessary. Now I'm going to find the place where I'm going to split my rabbit hair, right there. What I mean by that is I want to lock this in on the hide, on the leather part of the skin, not on the furry part. I want to take all my hair off. There we go. Now you can see how I've come back to the hide. I'll just lay that in here. So move that up a bit, one little more there. A little more yet. Just a little more yet. There you go. That's why it's so important to wet your fingers when you lock that in. There we are. Now this nano thread is super strong, by the way, so that will not give way. Now when I lay my hairs back, now you can see how, there we are. In the water, you're not going to notice that. Now I'm going to put in next my my schlappen. I want a big body, a fairly big body. So I'm using this stuff because it's very fat. Years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, you wouldn't have seen anybody using this stuff in North America. This was an English product. There we are. See how fat that goes? Pretty interesting. But I want that to be visible to the fish. There. Lock it in. Take out the excess. There we are. And double check that lock. Okay, nano thread is amazing stuff. Now you can see there's sort of a bump there, so I'm just going to take my scissors and take some of that off. There. Give it a brush cut. There we are. And I'm going to pull this forward. And I'm going to measure it first. Pull it forward. There we are. Okay. I'm going to try some other scissors to get that smaller. There. There we are. There. Okay, next is going to come my rubber legs. What I've chosen is it's a chartreuse rubber legs. Okay, and I'll take two to start with. Take that part off when they weld them together, and I'm just going to lay them in. I'll cut them to length when I'm done. I'm not too worried about this. On this side, lay them in, position them. Okay, that's good. And I'll do the same on the other side. Just lay them in. Not too worried about the length. One soft wrap. There. Now I can maneuver my legs back if I wish. There we are. I don't want them that long. That's not as long as I want them, but for now, it'll do. In fact, what I'll show you is I will cut them now. That one, and that one. Okay, now I'm going to bring my fur back over. Rub and pull back the rubber legs with my finger. Lock it in. There we are. Now, like I said, this stuff is pretty seriously strong stuff. There. Pretty neat. I'm going to put a little bit of flash. Nothing too much. A little bit of crystal flash. Here. Just on top. Again, I'm not being too fussy about measurements. It's all about feel and sight. There. Lay that down. To the side a little more. And more to the side. There. There we are. Now, I'm going to finish it off with some slapping. And I'm going to tie it in from the stem. I want my slapping head to be fairly rigorous, fairly substantial. There we are. Pull around, lock that in. There we are. Take that off. Now, a few palmers. Few wraps. Nice. Perfect. Really nice. So you notice all the natural color of the olive and chinchilla. It really adds to this fly. It's such a simple fly to tie. Such an efficient fly. There. You'll often hear me use those words, efficient. Efficient means to me is a fly that you can tie easily and it's definitely going to work for you. There, I'm basically done that part of the fly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some super glue on. I don't use head cement. Head cement doesn't hold anything. guy's super glued. Here, I'll use this one. There. So what I'm going to do is bring my thread up and put a little super glue on my thread and let it run down. There we go. That way it's going to run down into my material, and there, a simple whip finish that will not come undone. There, and this nano thread is really good for this. So we're done the fly almost. The next part of the fly is going to be quite interesting. I'm going to put a needle through the rabbit hide, and I'm going to be installing a hook. And the hook is a Maruto carp hook. It's a barbless. It's called the 8832 SSC plus CP, meaning carp. Nice hook. Super strong. Super strong. And it's barbless. So, move this out of the way. I'm going to grab my needle. Now you're going to see the hide, and you're going to see the loop. Now I want that loop to go through the hide and come out on top. So what I'm going to do, push my needle through, I'm going to grab the loop, put it through, and then pull the loop right through the hide and out on top, like so. Right on top. So now all I have to do is put it through the eye of the hook, find it, there we are. Put it through the eye of the hook, open up my loop, bring my hook through. That's why I said earlier, it's really important to make sure that you leave enough room to get your hook on. There it is. And when you put your hook on, bring it right in and around, so you escape that. There, perfect. So you escape that sharp edge that's cut there. When they make the hook, there's a little sharp edge. You don't want your material to be near that. And there you have an amazingly efficient bunny leech pattern that will give any fish a surprise, because that hook is right at the end and you will not have a short strike. Very good. So that's why I don't use wire. If I use wire, it's like a bloody rudder. Thanks, folks.